Hello, beautiful peeps. In this case, I am going to, because I wrote this chapter and it took me a lot of time to do it, and I kind of want to talk about it. This is chapter 6 of our book, MuleSoft for Salesforce Developers. But I want to talk about the recursive functions specifically, and then tell recursive functions. I will do another video tomorrow. But today I want to talk about just plain recursive functions and talk about this chapter and this specific section that it took me so much to do. So I am going to show you a little bit of the book that we wrote, and I'm also going to do reference to the GitHub repo. So this is public. If you go to GitHub and then search for Pact Publishing and then MuleSoft for Salesforce Developers, you will get to this public repository. It won't make a lot of sense if you just go to the repo because all of the explanations are in the book. But anyway, here's where I'm gonna take all of the scripts that I'm gonna run today to put them there instead of like copy and paste them from PDF, which can be wrong sometimes. So we are here. I am in specifically chapter 6 and then the folder 02, which is the second part. And this is where it starts with the some recursive fun.dwl. So here it is. So let's start with that. Let me copy it, which is this script right here. Let me copy and paste it. It's the same, right? Yeah, it's the same. So I'm gonna put it here. Then I'm gonna run this. And the preview 6. Pretty straightforward. Here we can see that in the comment I added that the preview 6. The output is 6. And what is this doing? This is basically summing up all of the numbers. So first we have 3. I will show you in the book a bit. But we have 3 and then 3 plus 2. So we have 5 and then 5 plus 1. We have 6. We can do more. 5. So this will be 5. 5 plus 4. We have 9. And then 9 plus 3, 12, I'm sorry, 12 plus 2, and we have 14, 14 plus 1, and we have 15. There you go. That's how this function works. Now, I'm just gonna skip all of that. You can see there all the explanation, but I wanted to go to this diagram right here. This is not like a formal diagram, but it kind of gives you the idea of what I'm going to explain. So first, we come here and we call the function sum with a 3, right? Oh, let me put this back. It's 3. Okay. First is a 3. So then it comes here inside the function and it says if number is more than 1, so 3 is more than 0, yes. So then it goes here, right? And what this does is basically taking the number, which is 3, and adding another call. So we're gonna call now the same function again, but now we're gonna say number, which was 3, minus 1. So we're doing sum 2, basically. And here we can see that. So sum 3, and then 3 is more than 0, yes, so it comes here, and then it does 3 plus sum 2. So now this is the second call. It arrives saying sum 2 because that's what we sent, and then we have is 2 more than 0, and then this is true. So now this is 2 plus sum 1. And then now this sum 1 is another call, right? So now we go to the third call, which is sum 1. Is 1 more than 0? Yes. So now we have 1 plus sum 0. So now in the fourth call, it's sum 0. and then we check is 0 more than 0, and the answer is no. So now it finally returns 0 back. What do I mean back? So if we go here now, we started at the top and now we're starting at the bottom. It returned 0. So now we know that sum 0 equals to 0. So now we can respond to the calling function, which was sum 1. So now we had 1 plus sum 0. And now that we know that sum 0 is 0, we have 1 plus 0, which is 1. So now we know that sum 1 is 1. So now we go back and now we have 2 plus 1, which is 3. So now we know that sum 2 equals 3. So now we go back and we do 3 plus 3 equals 6, which then gives us the answer that is sum 3 equals 6. Another way to look at it is like I'm saying sum 0, which is 0. So now this call is returned to when we were doing 1, because this is 1, and then goes on and goes on. It's like calling the same thing 4 times. So now that we can see that in a diagram, there is another explanation that I wanted to show you that looks way better. I mean, it depends on if you prefer to see the diagram, if you prefer to see the code, or if you prefer to see this kind of text that I put here, where you have basically this is like the tree of calls that you're doing. You start with sum 3, and then you have 3 plus sum 2, which is what we do here, right? Here we have 3 plus sum number minus 1. So 3 plus sum 2, and then sum 2 means 2 plus sum 1. So now sum 1 means 1 plus sum 0, and sum 0 means 0. So now that we know that sum 0 is 0, we can do 1 plus 0, which is 1, and now we can do 2 plus 1, which is 3, and now we have 3, so 3 plus 3, this is 6. And this is how this tree keeps growing depending on the amount of calls that you do. I think I put the log here. No, I didn't. Anyway, I don't know how to do this here actually. So if I do sum 3, and then I wanted to output the number, how can I do that? Like this, perhaps? But I don't know where to see that. I don't know where the console is. Oh, there it is. Sweet. So I'm basically logging what is the number that comes here, right? So we have 3, 2, 1, 0. And then if I log, well, anyway, we can see that these are 4 different calls, right? And then I can also do the 5, so you can see the number of calls as well. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And these are then 6 calls. Yeah, 6 calls. So it goes on and on and on. So I'm gonna take out the log because I don't want to overwhelm this thing. If I do 254, this is gonna work. Here it is. I don't need this console anymore. But if I do 255, this is not gonna work. I have a Stack Overflow error saying that the max stack is 2 and 56. Why 2 and 56 if I'm putting 2 and 55? Because the 0 also counts as, like, we were sending 3 and we were doing 4 calls, right? So 3 plus the 0 one. So if we do 255, it means that it's doing 256 calls. And the max stack is 256. So we're reaching exactly the max. This is a Stack Overflow error and this will not work. I can also try a big number like 5,000 and it's not gonna work. So how do we fix this? With tail recursive functions, which is what I'm gonna show you tomorrow. Or if you have the book, you can just go ahead, go to chapter 6 and read it yourself. But that's all for this video. This is why regular recursive functions are dangerous in DataWeave. Yes, you can kind of tune your application to get a bigger limit, more than 256. But I mean, is it worth it if your application's performance is gonna be affected by it? I don't think it is. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I will show you the tail recursive function, or if I already posted it, you will be able to see it where? There. Like there? Yes. You will be able to see it there in a few seconds. All right, see you in the next video then. Bye.